Hi everybody. Well, welcome to the Everyday with Meg show, and today we're doing goal setting part 3. So I did part 1 and part 2. They're over on the IGTV or the YouTube, so you can go and watch them. But today we're talking about part 3. So in part 1 and 2 we went over how to come up with your goal, what your milestone marks are, your breakdown on how to get there to actually achieve it. And then today we're going to talk about the obstacles that might come up, how to navigate around the obstacles, the sacrifices that you might need to make and how you choose those, and then my best tips on consistency, because our goals are usually something that is in the future. They're a bit of a long-term commitment in most cases, and that requires that you stay the course, and that admits everything that goes on in our day-to-day life, that you're still prioritizing and making time to achieve this goal and the small steps, small increments that it takes to get there. So let's right now envision, and if you haven't, make sure you go back and make sure you have in mind your top 1, 2, or 3 goals in mind. I often find that my goals, if I have more than one, kind of weave in and out together, so they all, once I accomplish one, it's going to help me get to the next one and so on, or they'll just allow me to stay in a headspace that I can get to the following goal in a similar format, similar form. So with those goals for yourself in mind, let's first talk about the sacrifices and obstacles that are going to come up. So first of all, plan ahead. Plan the time within your week that you are going to dedicate towards your goal. Are you going to need 1 hour every morning to, before anything else, you spend that 1 hour writing or creating or whatever that might be? Is it going to be maybe an afternoon every week, every Friday afternoon, you dedicate and time block a few hours towards that goal? Is it 1 day a week? What is it? And I want you to be really specific and plan ahead so that you are front loading not only yourself, but also your work, your team, your family, that this is an important commitment of yours and that you're not going to let anything get in the way unless it's an emergency, and that it just then becomes part of your regular routine no matter how long it takes to get there. So planning ahead. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, by Benjamin Franklin. Look at Toby, he's so cute. Okay, plan ahead. Number 2, habit stacking. The act of completing 2 healthy habits together consistently for an extended period of time. So this is a great hack because a lot of us probably, if you're on this page, it's likely that you have healthy habits in place or you're working in that direction. So the best thing to do is to stack them. Pick a goal that, or break down, back in the goal setting video part 2, we talked about the milestone marks, the things you're going to have to do to get to your goal. So when you think about one of your milestone marks and you broke down, the things you're going to have to do to get there, those are some specific actions that you can habit stack behind, because they're going to be smaller and more compoundable effects every single day. So for instance, let's say you're wanting to run a half marathon. That requires that you're running every day. That requires that you are working out in a way that's going to support your body so that it can achieve that long distance. But it also requires that you're fueling your body well and you're drinking water. So maybe that means habit stacking is in a form of drinking water. Maybe it means you drink 500 milliliters of water before your coffee. That's your habit. Your habit is to make a coffee every morning. Then you're going to stack it with drinking 5 milliliters of water right before. So you can see how just taking that one small step towards your larger goal, drinking water because your body needs fuel, stacking it behind a habit you already have, making coffee, and how that's going to benefit you long term. So it's a really helpful one, I find, so that you're not skipping the small steps that seem easy and seem so easy to forget, but really in the long term they're so monumental. Okay. Number 3, accountability. So being held responsible by telling someone or something else for keeping your promise to yourself. So I use social media for my accountability almost all the time. I tell all of you when I'm doing something crazy and when I'm up for a challenge or whatever I'm doing. It's just a fun way for me to be held accountable and to make sure that I'm checking in and doing posts. I also have my virtual studio. So those girls in there, they always keep me accountable and I keep them accountable. It's part of my role as a coach, but it's always helpful when I get it back from them. So for you, pick a person, whether it's like a workout buddy, whether it's your business partner, whether it's your friend, your sister, just someone to hold you accountable, and even ask them, like, can you check in on me every Saturday, and be like, hey, how's that goal coming along? Or even send yourself email reminders, email yourself, check in with so-and-so, or make a post on social media to update your followers, or write a blog post with the progress you're making so far. You want accountability to be something that is a little bit scary. You don't want to let people down. If I tell all of you guys I'm going to do something and then I don't, it's not a comfortable feeling. So it pushes and encourages me to make sure that I do and I follow through on what I said I was going to do. 4, due date. So if applicable, so this depends on the variables of your milestone marks and attachment to your goal. I like having a rough due date. So I like to say, okay, by in a month from now, I want to have X, Y, and Z done. In 6 months, I want to have this kind of sorted out or figured out. And it just helps me stay on track. I am not like super black and white about this. I'm not like, if this isn't done in 6 months, I'm giving up on the goal and it's not working, it doesn't matter. But it just gives me a rough timeline so that I have a bit of an initiative, a speed, a level of flow that I want to stay attached to, so that I'm not just letting my own dreams and goals be put to the side because of other things, right? So just having that due date can be really helpful. The theme here is that it requires you to sacrifice certain things that you might be doing in your life right now. It might require that you sub unhealthy habits for healthy habits. It might mean that you give up certain functions, like maybe you like to go to the mall and stroll around, and that was like your way to just chill out. Maybe you're going to take that out of your schedule and instead you're going to dedicate that hour to your goal. Maybe it means that you are training outside even when it's a little bit cold because you committed to a specific goal. Maybe that means that you roll out your yoga mat even though you're not in the mood that day, but you made a commitment to. And so you have to make those sacrifices, and sometimes that means that you give up a little bit of fun time for something that's going to benefit you and bring you joy in the long term. All these things also really help you navigate around obstacles that come up. So obstacles are small, and then obstacles that are large. So if you're planning ahead to your week, you kind of have an idea about how to navigate when an obstacle comes up, because you're like, okay, this didn't work today, but tomorrow I still have this planned. Or habit stacking is another easy thing. It's something you don't even have to think about. So when your life gets busy, your schedule gets busy, it's something that's already in flow with you, so that helps. So having these things in place and accountability as well, it's going to help you navigate the obstacles quicker and more easily, and start to build a trust within yourself that you're going to follow through on your commitment. All right, consistency, my favorite topic ever. I have a couple options for you to invite into your daily schedule, your weekly schedule, and your monthly schedule for consistency. And I invite you to pick one of these options and adopt it into your goal regimen right now. So first off, an easy one is affirmations. And affirmations can be done in multiple different forms. You can write affirmations down on paper and leave slips around your house. You could write affirmations in your phone. You could set alarms. You could have an affirmation card deck. I find those really helpful. But it's just a way for you to break your goals down further and remind yourself every day why you're even working towards them. So what exactly are affirmations? A specific way for you to make your own personal affirmations, to go back to your back to goal setting part 1 or part 2, when you wrote down your goals and you broke them down further, and we broke them down into segments of job, finance, home, relationship, body, and then free time and community. And then you're going to say, so whatever your goal might have been for, let's say, your home. So here I had an example of a yoga teacher and her goals after graduating teacher training. So for her home yoga goal was to have a sacred yoga space for her home practice. So your affirmation then is to turn that goal into a present tense sentence. I have a sacred space in my home for my yoga practice. As if you already have it, as if this is already created. That's what is most important here, is you're using present tense. And so when you say it in your head going forward, you're already starting to formulate solutions and starting to be awake to solutions that might come up, or inspiration that's going to help you get to that next space. So present tense. Affirmations you could also write down. So if you're familiar with Rachel Hollis and the Start Today brand, I really love their Start Today journal. You have 10 affirmations, and they're just your 10 goals, your 10 dreams, and you're writing them down in present tense every single day. So every single day you're writing your 10 goals down for your life in present tense as if they've already happened, and it just allows you to be fueled with some confidence and some trust that those outcomes will come through. Okay? So affirmations could be written down every day like I just said, or they could be something that you pull a card every other day. It could be something that you have an alarm set for. You have some flexibility there, but they are really, really powerful. Number 2, journaling. So record your progress, your thoughts, brain dump, creative solutions, ideas. I like to journal almost every day for the most part, just like a quick brain dump of what's going on. When I have an idea in my mind, or I'm working towards a milestone mark in my goals and I'm feeling a little bit stuck or stumped, or I have all these ideas but I'm not sure which one to go towards first, journaling really helps me just get it out on a page and see it in front of me and see it from a different perspective instead of just remembering what's going on all up in my head. Rereading it, I can see, okay, yeah, that makes sense, that not so much, that feels good reading it, I'm going to stick around with that and hang on to that thought. Journaling. Okay, number 3 is your vision and your why. So we talked about this in the other video too. Your why is that extra motivation. It's like your anchor. So on the days that suck and the days that things aren't working, your why is what pushes you through. Your why is what encourages you to move forward. It's like your mission statement for your life, and even your mission statement for that specific goal. So why is it so important? When I have clients joining the virtual studio and some of them, their goal might be to lose 5-10 pounds, I say dig deeper. Why is that? Why does that matter to you? Because what happens when you reach that mark, then what? I want to know why that's important to you. Is it because you want to feel confident? Is it because you want to fit into your favorite pair of jeans? Why is that deeper level, and it really just hits home with you. It's going to strike that chord and that emotional trigger to keep you moving forward. Also having a vision. So I have written down my vision in detail of what my life and my goals will look like years from now, and I write down them in present tense, how I feel, what it looks like, what's around me, what I've invested in, what my career looks like, what my personal life looks like, and I read that almost every single day, and that allows me to envision my future and remind me what I'm working towards. So vision, you could also record it on your phone and listen to it every day. Some people like that. If you have a dog, you walk a dog every single day, that like I do, that's a great time also to remind yourself of your vision. Reading it, it's just, and you could even rewrite your vision every single week and write it out for yourself and notice when things stay the same or upgrade, or you have a new vision or a new aspect to add to your vision. It's just so powerful, so powerful. Okay. Accountability check-in. So I know I talked about this in your sacrifices and obstacles, but accountability when it comes to consistency, it's just so necessary and so helpful, because it's your affirmations, your journaling, your vision, your why are all internal things. They're all you, right? But sometimes you need that external motivation. You need that external person or thing that's going to keep you on track. And so having a plan for when you're going to do your accountability check-ins will be helpful. So I post on stories almost every single day with the habits I'm doing that are going to help me stay on track towards my big goal. Perhaps you have a call with a mentor once a month, and that is your opportunity to check in. All right. So that's kind of it for consistency. What I'd like you to do is pick out of all those things, think about what you want to do every single day to hold yourself to be consistent towards your goal. A daily thing, whether it's your daily affirmations, whatever, a weekly choice and a monthly choice. Cover one, daily, weekly, monthly, and that's going to help you stay consistent, because I do all these things and I have all these things in place for a daily, monthly, weekly order, and it helps me, especially when things get crazy and nuts. So that's all. That's the end of our goal setting series. This has been a system that I've had in place for a while now, and I've found it to be very helpful, and it's really encouraging when I can look back on those journal entries or look back on that affirmation and be like, I did that. that is checked off. And one of them that happened recently was I get to explore and travel often. And when the global pandemic happened, I was like, okay, apparently that's not gonna happen. But then a few months later, IFF Discover was birthed, and I was camping and in an RV, and I was going all over, and all of a sudden I was traveling. It was all over Ontario, but I was still traveling, and I was still exploring, and I got to be outside, and I was venturing, and all of a sudden that goal for myself was being checked off. I was living that goal. And so it was affirmation that what I've been doing, that this goal setting system is working, and it does pull through, especially when things get crazy and things are hard. So I hope that today's video specifically will prepare you for life. When life sideswipes you, when things come up, it invites you to be confident in your ability to navigate obstacles and to trust that the sacrifices you make for your goals are going to be worth it long term, and that consistency really does pay off. So if you have any questions, totally feel free to comment, and I'll talk to you all soon.